Tom and I had the good fortune to travel to Kingman, Arizona in January of 2012 to meet up with friends and hunt with Harry McElroy in the deserts surrounding his home. We also took this opportunity to interview him about his experiences when hunting quail with the Harris's hawk. What was your first encounter or exposure to Harris hawks?
I read about it in the NAFA, I think it was in the Hawk Shock, it could have been the Journal, back in the 60s. So I thought, well, I'm losing all of these Cooper's hawks as soon as they get in shape and make those long flights, so I might as well try something else that's more manageable. And so from that article, and it was 67 or 68, I got one off of an electrical pole, one of those electrical towers, that flew to the ground when I approached the nest. So it was what you'd call a brancher, I guess, wouldn't you? And I started with it, and it was an excellent bird, excellent. And it,
a male or female?
It was a male, and towards the middle of the year it started flying down quail, and I knew we were in business.
Where was that?
That was in the Casa Grande Valley area, and I took it from Mesa, on one of those electrical towers in Mesa.
Still quite a few Harris hawks there, yeah.
Yeah, there were Harris hawks there. I don't know if they're still there.
Yeah, no, there are. We've seen some, yeah. So who was the first falconer that you knew that flew a Harris hawk? Were you it?
It would be that article, I guess.
And do you remember who that was? We'll have to look.
No, I don't, but it's probably written up in Desert Hawking too.
Oh, okay.
His name and the name of the article and all that.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up. Which falconers do you think were influential in the Harris hawk becoming popular in falconry? Obviously you were.
Well,
and that's that guy in the article, right?
yeah, I started flying that Harris, and falconers just started coming by in droves. And a few of them, Dale Gutharmson, and a friend of his who was later killed on a motorcycle accident, both of them had really nice Harris hawks. And you know, a lot of people would just come by the house, and we'd play all kinds of tricks on them, like taking the Harris hawk out at night and catching rabbits in the car lights and silly stuff like that. We wouldn't tell them anything, you know. We'd get out there and push them out the car window and they'd grab a rabbit. The funniest one was a guy from California, and he started yelling, "You can't do this."
But he just did it.
Yes, you can. Oh, my.
Oh, Ed Friedmuth came by, and I took all of the equipment off of the Harris hawk, even the little just things and everything, and went out to the desert. And you know, Ed, he won't let you pull him in. And as we were walking along, his head kept swiveling to the side and looking down at that hawk, you know, with his thick glasses. It was almost like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was absolutely hilarious.
I loved him.
And I had a piece, I didn't have a glove or anything, you know, but I had a piece of chicken in a rear pocket along with a real thin glove in case things just went to hell, you know.
That's great.
So did you answer that? When did you get your first Harris then? Was that probably like 69 or?
That would probably 67 or 68.
Oh, so right around that article, very soon, okay. Do you know how many Harris hawks you've flown?
No, I don't know.
A guesstimate?
I don't have any way of telling. You know, we could haul out all of my record books and everything. It'd just be a stack that high.
So you do have them all recorded?
Pardon?
They're all recorded? All your...
Probably there's something written. I don't think we've thrown away any of those record
Good,
books.
that's good. So you think maybe 30?
Could be. I don't know.
I'm just throwing out a number, that's all right. Have you trained any females?
About the only female I flew was the one that was given to Beth
Uh-huh,
before we married,
Uh-huh.
which would be 41 or 2 years ago.
yeah.
And it was one of those highly exceptional, big, heavy females, flew up to 40 grams.
Wow.
I'm sorry, ounces,
That would be, yeah.
back in the good
Huh.
old days. And it was, if a bunch of people were by and we were flying these birds together, if she started at the back of the pack on something, she'd be up at the front before they caught up with it.
Catch
So
up, yeah.
she was
Fast.
really
Exceptional,
Fast,
right,
yeah.
right.
very dominant, you know,
Fast.
she took everything. No matter what hawk had it, she took it.
Oh,
She robbed red tails.
oh gosh.
She would land on one of those high-line poles, you know, where a red tail was eating something, and she would just put her wings out like that and start walking like Godzilla or something. And those red tails would drop it, and boy, would they take off. It was fun watching her.
Have you had any Harrisocks that were not trainable?
Yes,
Or not worth it, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a number that you could train to come to you and everything, but they just never would catch anything. They just seemed forever. Like one I kept a whole season. I didn't have another hawk. Kept the whole season. The last day of the quail season, I put it on a perch in the mute, turned to start to walk away, and it, bam, it hit me in the back of the head. And I just thought, well, I was going to turn it loose anyway.
Wake up call.
Today is the day, sure enough. And we took it out to its family and let it go with its family. And Beth saw it with the family again the
Oh,
next
great.
day.
That was awfully kind of you,
Lovely kind.
considering what it did.
And it never caught anything. I flew it every day.
Wow.
It never caught anything.
Wow, that's hard.
Couldn't even manage a mouse.
Oh, no trainers.
So, I know that you've traveled a lot to other countries. How many other places have you hunted Harrisocks in other countries, or seen them, watched them flown?
Yes, I watched them flown in other countries. Mexico, the Mexican falconers, some of them are highly advanced falconers, and they get in groups and go out and spend several weeks. They'll go to someone's home they know and camp around that home, and you know, where they'll have water and a few amenities.
Uh-huh.
And a large group of them will hunt all day, every day.
Great.
They really know what they're doing, and it's fun watching these guys fly.
I'd like to do that sometime.
One falconer, who, I can't remember his name right now, but he gave me that wooden carving you see on the wall
yeah.
up there.
Oh, beautiful.
He and a whole large group of them were by, and they went out hawking, and they came back in the afternoon, and I said, well, how did you do? And he almost cried. He reached in his lure bag, he pulled out 2 quail. He says, everybody was catching rabbits and jacks, and this is all I got.
Was he joking?
No, he was
was
serious.
serious.
He really wanted to catch those rabbits.
Sure.
So, in South America, did you?
Yeah, and in Argentina, I watched the guys hunt a couple of days, and as you know, they have that small Harris
Right.
hawk, and they were catching some kind of a rodent type thing in moderate cover.
Right, right.
And their birds were doing real
Oh,
well.
good, good. Oh.
Have you ever,
And then Peru,
Peru, yeah, right.
they were flying them down there again, the smaller Harris.
and what were they hunting?
I think one of them was catching what we would call some kind of a ringneck dove, and just whatever moved, you know.
Right, yeah.
Along the coast is where we hunted mostly.
So have you ever flown one of the southern subspecies?
I never have. I'm curious to know if the males are really more bird oriented or more capable, because you get all of these mixed signals from
Right.
falconers.
Right,
Some of them say they're excellent bird hawks, the others say, well, my American Harris takes birds better than they do, so I don't know what the thing is.
we had one that we flew alongside a bird that we bred, and the captive bred bird did really outperform it. But I think it's probably a matter of individual variation is probably more important than the subspecies difference, you know, is my guess, but
Might be.
the jury's, you know, not out on that yet. So what, you've hunted with a cast sometimes of Harris hawks. I mean, we saw you out hunting with Jamaica's bird yesterday, but, what are some of your experiences hunting with a cast, and why are you not doing that now so much on quail? Why do you prefer one male? Just curious.
I would think that if you were hunting two males in a cast, that you would do a lot better. It'd be more effective because the real test of a Harris on quail comes when you're reflush.
Right.
Right.
And then they use the bush and everything, they make short flights and depending on the individual
Right,
quail,
right.
of course.
Right.
And if you had two males going, I think they would be more effective. I've seen this.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you could take a male and a female, they would be more
Sure.
likely to work together.
Right, yeah, right.
So I think it would be a real asset.
Two males might be a
But
little
if
bit
you're
less
flying
sometimes.
two males by yourself,
Right.
then you have some emotional issues that are just not worth it.
You don't have enough hands sometimes.
Yeah,
Right.
sometimes you hear from people over the net that they have two males, they're talking together very
Sure,
well, but
Yeah.
not mine. They hate each other.
So I know that you prefer the late taken passage male, and if a falconer was not able to hunt very often, like almost every day, would you steer them away from the late passage, or do you think that it could still work?
I would guess that you need to hunt them every day or very close to that, because the late passage needs some maintenance, almost like an acceptor. But I don't think the late passage is superior to the domestically bred. It's just that they have that experience and you're able to switch them into quail flights, the long quail following flights, more easily.
Well, I mainly asked that question because we know of quite a few falconers back east who have taken late passage birds, male or female, and then they don't have the time commitment, they don't hunt them, they don't work with them every day, and they end up with a bird that either dies because of husbandry issues or they finally realize they shouldn't let it go.
I'll be.
And it's a shame to see that, because, you know, if you have to, well, with any bird, you need to put the time in, but,
Yeah, it requires a little more time, a
Mhm.
little more patience. You treat them a little more like an acceptor.
Exactly.
Mhm. That makes sense. So, what are some of the most common husbandry problems that you encounter with passage harris hawks? And I know you've developed some innovative solutions to deal with that, so could you talk a little bit about that?
And you mean in taming and training them, or what?
Oh, I was meaning
Yeah, husbandry.
like housing and,
Yeah, they occasionally, an individual will batter itself in the
Mhm.
mew. You know, I
Right.
do this free lofting.
Right, that's what I'm
well,
saying.
and that's what I meant, talk about the free lofting a little bit
And
too, right? Yeah.
I use the same mew design and the same small narrow windows and all of that with the sepators as I do late passage Harris. And they fit into this mew thing. I think that's where 90% of your problem is, because I don't put hawks out on perches.
Right,
I free loft them, I hunt them every day. So they don't need, any outside exposure.
No.
They get
Right.
exposure
all the
every
time,
day.
right.
Oh, yeah.
And what did you do this time for your flight pen? Do you still have, I know you had like that long flight pen.
Well, I have the goshawk in that long flight
Uh-huh.
pin here. It's a short flight pin.
Yeah, and so you don't feel like that's completely necessary for the male because he's getting flown all the time.
I don't think so. I think if you fly them every day, you'll see them like Armbruster's bird yesterday,
Right.
just flying all over the
Right.
sky.
Right,
My hawk was doing the same thing yesterday. He's flying all over hell and
Right.
creation. And when you see them doing that, you know that they're in pretty good shape.
and they're also handling it okay to not have, I mean, you know, like on their days off. They're handling it well here, so yeah, okay.
Well, this particular individual is a little chronic about that. He bumps his head and all of that. He's got a mark on his sear right now.
And are you still using chloroplast? What are you lining the insides of things with?
Yeah, he was bumping around doing his feet and his sear, but he's more of a chronic case. He's a little bit
Yeah, and they can be.
jumpy. But I went in, I lined everything and, did what I could. I don't know what his problem was last year. He dropped all those wing feathers on one wing.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And he's a funny one.
Let's talk about fitness then. How important do you consider fitness for quail hawking, and what do you do to develop a fit hawk?
For me, I could go back to the 18th century with my fitness, and that is just flying every day.
Right.
I don't use jump ups. The only reason I use jump ups is for taming.
Right.
If for some reason or another I broke a leg or something and couldn't get out and fly, well, maybe I'd use jump ups to.
Yeah, we don't use
Keep
them
them in
either.
shape,
Just curious. Yeah.
I feel they're free in the mew and they're free out in the field, and I'm on my horse. They fly
really
miles
do.
and miles every day. And that, to me, that's more natural than jump ups.
Oh, yeah.
So before the hawk is in shape, at the start of the season, does it still catch quail?
At the start of this, right
Yeah.
at the start.
Yeah.
They tend to kind of drift in to shape and to catching quail, unlike an acceptor that I've seen Cooper's hawks, imprinted Cooper's hawks, just step right out of the mew look at a quail and fly it down. They're not like, you know, like a Cooper's hawk doing.
Mm-hmm,
They need a little conditioning.
right. So how important is speed to hawking quail? I know that's one of your favorite topics, and when is it important?
The speed,
Yeah.
the speed, I think is important on the reflush, but all of the Harrises that are accustomed to flying quail will turn it up and go top speed on the reflush. Maybe a beginning Harris might not know this, but they soon learn it, and if they're flown free and flown every day, they're gonna be hell to handle, because, you know, they're every bit as fast as a Cooper's hawk.
Huh. So what kinds of differences have you observed in speed in Harris's hawks?
It's a remarkable difference. I think any of the raptors that are direct pursuit raptors will have a great deal of difference in terms of their overall behavior, their personality, whatever you want to call it, and their speed. Their speed is dramatically different. And I think Armbruster's bird is a real good example of that. It is flying down quail.
Mm-hmm.
It's overtaken quail. And only the top 10% of the Coopers can do that.
Really?
Yeah, they don't fly quail down, they get them on the
Because
reflush.
they don't have the distance, I guess. Is that it?
They don't have the speed.
Really?
And if you were to look at certain birds, other species of birds, there are birds out there that Armbruster's hawk just flies down in the open. And a Cooper's can't do that.
Huh.
The average Cooper's, only the top 10% can do that.
Interesting.
So you can, you know, they're kind of like speedometers.
So what other qualities besides speed are important for quail hawking?
What is the?
Oh, yeah, what other qualities in a hawk are important for catching quail besides speed?
Yeah, I think when you're catching quail, your concentration is on that quail. So you need a hawk that is cooperative,
Yeah.
unless it's a super fast bird of some kind. You need a bird that's gonna
It's gotta
work
be
with you
right.
and do things right and behave and cooperate.
It's not gonna get a second chance, it's gotta be there.
Yeah, the
Right,
quail's gonna
right.
get away.
Right. So what qualities of the hawk can really improve with practice? You know, when you're first getting them started on quail?
Well, I think that the first thing you'll notice on a really experienced quail hawk is that they're pressing that quail. They're flying faster on the first flush. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that cooperation and their drive once they're experienced. Like this bird's probably about 3 years old, and he's a master at quail. Once they drop into the bush, you know, a bunch of weeds or anything to try to get away from him, he's a master at catching them in there, in the bush.
So, do you think they improve with their footing ability too?
Dramatic
Yeah.
improvement
Yeah.
in footing.
Huh. So you've written that Harris hawks are very individualistic, and you know Tom and I certainly agree on that. What are some of the? Could you give an example of a couple of them, how different they might be, and then what do you think that? What does that mean to you with respect to their training and management?
Well, I think you just get a gut feeling with a bird that's gonna cooperate and go along with you on everything, and it affects everything you do with that hawk.
You could do more with it, yeah.
Yeah, you can do anything with these cooperative birds. you go out to pick them up, you just toss them in the box and off you go to the field. And the difficult one, you might be managing it month after month after month. You're concentrating on it like it's an ossipeter.
Mhm.
So you know, the better ones have learned to fit in with what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, we're frustrated often with, falconers that call you and they want a formula for training a particular bird, and you're like, well, what's the hawk doing now, and what are you feeding it? There has to be some observation of what's going on in that hawk's head.
That's the big thing, a person like that can easily train a falcon or a red tail, but they better stay away from the more difficult flights with the Harris hawk, because they're not going to be happy.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
agree.
tune in, don't you, to that
Right.
individual.
Right. So what's your general approach for solving any kind of behavioral problem that a hawk has?
That's a good question.
Sometimes you don't know the answer to that one either.
Well, I was trained in behaviorist psychology.
Right.
And during this training, I was watching the other students, as we were being trained, and especially when we were watching individuals that they were using this stuff on.
Mhm.
And they were just sitting there yawning and all that. So you could tell that these more intelligent of the psychologists that were in training were taking this behaviorism with a grain of salt. And it's no doubt it's a powerful tool in training animals. There's no question about that. You can do all kinds of little parlor tricks with them,
Right.
but that's not hunting.
Right.
And I think the most important thing you can do is get out there every day that you possibly can, and just keep hunting. And by the end of the year, maybe they have moved the direction you want them. Quite possibly they have, but I think every hawk begins with a certain little set, just like is now demonstrated in research and psychology on humans.
Mhm.
You can change the environment on a human and change their behavior and say, look, you're doing this, stupid, why don't you try doing this? It'll be a hell of a lot better for you. And you can do the same thing with a hawk, but with that human, at the end of 3 years, it's still going to be the same person you started out with. And I suspect the hawk is too. They're going to be improved. They're going to be physically
Right.
fit. They're going to be trained. They're going to be the same hawk you started with.
Yeah. Well, you get a gold star on that answer.
That was good.
Why, is that yours?
Yeah, I agree. I applaud that. That was great.
Yay!
No,
Just-
no, because I think hunting is everything. We always tell people that they call up and they want to know immediate training techniques to fix some problem, and I go, no. If you want to get rid of all your rough edges on a bird, go hawking every day, and then things start making sense.
Yeah.
But they make sense for the hawk and they make sense for you. And then you can solve your problems as you go. There'll be small problems instead of these giant problems. A hawk, an idle hawk, is an idle mind. That's not good, We like, busy,
Well,
hunt,
and we
hunt,
talk
hunt.
to a lot of falconers who
Yeah.
overtrain their birds and don't take them hunting soon enough, and seem to do anything they can to keep out of the field.
Right.
And so, of course, they're developing, any number of behavioral problems then. But
No,
take them hunting.
take them on, yeah. It's
Well, the one that, from you, Tom, that I think of every few days
Hmm.
is that you seem to, you said one time that they come out of the egg fast. If they're a fast hawk,
Oh,
they're a
yeah, they
fast
really
hawk.
do, yeah. You can't make a slow hawk fast, you can make it more fit, which you'll gain something. but-
It'll gain some. in
It'll gain
speed, right,
something,
yeah.
but some of those, well, you know what a Cooper's hawk do, some of them just have it, and others don't, but again, speed isn't everything, as we know, it's not, it's part of the equation, I guess, but you could definitely breed for speed, we bred for speed before, and it worked. Unfortunately, we had some genes that went along with the speed that didn't work out.
That we didn't
It
like.
wasn't speed's fault, it was just the gene, these birds we have end up breeding for speed. Turned out they were kind of nervous and
High strung,
high-strung.
nervous, and maybe that is related. I
They
mean,
could
that
be
might be a
related to
related
speed.
set
I
of
don't know,
genes.
you know.
Not all the time, but sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Because I'm real fast, and I'm high-strung.
It's like taking a linebacker and putting him on the track, huh? Not you, Tom.
Not me, no.
What kind of communications have you had with your Harris Hawks, like signals and commands?
Yeah.
Did they pick up on that pretty well?
Yes, they do. I use a given set of signals, and then others are commands. For example, if I ever show the lure, I want the very best response I can ever get with the lure. So they always get a little bit of something to eat once they see that lure. And if I show them meat on the fist, they always get a bite to eat, even if I'm trying to reflush and everything's kind of excited. And the other thing is the whistle. And I group these things in commands. If I ever use a whistle, they always get a little bite of something to eat. And in terms of signals, a wave of the glove, talking to them, all that. I try, going back to the commands, I try to always flush a bird, when I call out the escape signal.
Yeah.
So these things, they know, and the Harris hawk, of course, being smart, knows these signals. Like Cooper's hawks, you can train them for when you call out, and some of them will just shoot straight up into the air. Well, the Harris hawk will do that too. They know once you call out, oh, I better get
ready.
going. The smart ones, always want to be up. So.
Have you had any Harris Hawks that cack when they know where the quail is? Cack, 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 cack.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's most evident with Aplomato falcons.
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they really like to talk to their prey. Or they're calling the other one in.
Whatever
We
it
can't
is,
figure out
right,
which one.
Yeah,
right.
we don't know either, yeah.
So you mentioned that the Harris Hawk is intelligent and being able to understand signals and commands. What are some other things that you think demonstrate its intelligence when you're dealing with it?
Well, I think that we as humans register intelligence in animals, birds and all that, by what we're able to get out
Right,
of.
that's true. Good point.
And their intelligence might be running on a level that we never even imagined, and they might be smart as hell with that.
That's right.
But we can't recognize it. So, we're constantly judging intelligence, like the Harris hawk fits in with everything we ever wanted to do and a few
Right.
more.
Right.
And so we say the Harris hawk is highly intelligent, but like Helen Snyder told me
But it's
one
a
time,
context thing.
the accipiters are surviving anywhere and everywhere. They've got to be highly intelligent.
Yeah, they
So,
just
I
don't
don't
fit
know.
with our system as well sometimes, right? Yeah.
Pardon?
So they just don't fit with our system as well.
Right. Right.
So,
They might not. You can imagine one of them baiting like crazy in an enclosed area
Yeah.
and you're holding it on
Yeah.
the fist. And
I can't imagine that.
whereas a Harris hawk will bait, and its wing touches the side of something, it'll hold that wing in and bait with the other wing. So you could do a PhD on that question, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could.
Oh, I would imagine so.
You would know about that.
I know of some experiments we're talking about doing, yeah. So how closely does the Harris hawk bond to the dogs? Or is that more an individual thing? And do you find the species as a whole really takes to the dog quickly and figures out what's going on?
I think they do. A good goshawk will pick it up pretty quickly, but
Uh-huh.
I think a Harris is a little more sophisticated. Like they see when a bird goes birdie, a hawk goes birdie, they begin to pick up on that.
Right.
And of course, you'll notice a Harris hawk with a bird dog, and
Right.
the dog's on point, and the Harris hawk will come in
Mhm.
when it sees the dog on point. They're,
Some people
Again.
tell me that they feel like they're not part of the hunt a lot of the time, that it's just the dogs and the bird together. And do you feel like that's sometimes the case, or?
definitely,
Yeah.
this Harris that I have right now, last year was following that super speedy female goshawk that Jamaica was flying. And wherever that female went, and that female really flew, we'd turn it loose and
Oh,
it
wait.
was
Did you-
Harris.
Harris hawk, yeah, right, got it,
Yeah.
right, got it, okay.
And he was getting in terrific shape following that female around. Well, she gave that female away,
Right,
and this year, this little Harris hawk is following my dog, which is bred for field trialing, and he ranges.
uh-huh.
So this Harris hawk is following that dog if a lot of people aren't around, just,
Right.
really closely.
Oh, this is just a curiosity question. Have you had any interactions with wild Harris hawks with your birds? I mean, I'm guessing you probably have, but anything interesting?
Not very much, I know that they were there around our home in Wilcox, but we used, and they were screaming at my hawk when I flew it around the house.
Uh-huh.
But because they were there, I kind of avoided flying.
Where they were, right?
One bird was in early training, and he flew back off with his family. I had to retract.
Oh,
Uh,
don't go back to mommy.
yeah, I didn't know but what the group would attack him. I didn't know why they were screaming so much at any Harris I had.
What's your favorite way that a quail goes down? What's your ideal flights that get you the most excited?
Well, when I had Refugio, groups of droves of falconers were coming out,
I
hawking with us.
know that firsthand, yeah.
Yeah, and he likes to fly up there. He typically goes 250 feet up.
Right.
I don't know why, but it was always a thrill, and I would turn to the group of falconers and I'd say, well, I don't know what's happening today. He's not really flying high today, is he? And they'd look at me like, what the hell, you idiot? And it was always fun.
Yeah.
And Jamaica and Greg were down at the bottom of a draw. We were up on a hill, we got a point with that fancy bird dog I had, you know, that
Right.
pointer.
Yeah,
And when we went up there, we flushed the quail, and the quail, when you do that, they don't go down on a hill,
Right.
they go straight across.
Mhm.
And so up he went, you know, he went really high this time. And they dropped in down at the bottom where Jamaica and Greg were. So I went down there thinking, oh, I've got somebody here. And I turned to Greg and I said, Greg, how would you describe whether that was a high flight or was it a low flight or what was it? And he couldn't believe his ears. You know, he looked over at Jamaica and he says, oh, that was a really high flight. He kept looking at Jamaica like she was going to jump on him if he said anything ridiculous. I nearly fell off the horse laughing at him that day. God, that was funny. And that quail dumped into a bush right in front of him. You know, it was just
Perfect, yeah.
all of that area, those things it could have gone to, and right there in front of him, it was something. And seeing the look on Greg's face.
how high do you think is about the highest he would go, just in a flight like that?
Jim Dawson was by with a group of falconers one time, and I asked him, and he says, well, obviously it's going 250 feet,
Wow.
but you know, on certain days and under circumstances like when you're on a hill,
Right,
God knows
right,
Yeah.
right,
No,
right.
just
how high up
curious,
that
yeah.
bird was. And he just had the vigor. But speaking of high flights, you know, Terry I. Anson was flying his 2 late passage females during midday on thermals, and they were going well over 500.
Really?
Yeah, and Terry was used to looking at peregrines flying in England, you know, and he said, I know they're going up like a peregrine.
And he was hunting rabbits mostly then?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
hunting rabbits, and
Wow.
they would drop out of the sky
Wow.
like big black anvils.
Wow.
You know, they just,
Wow.
those
beautiful.
stoops were incredible.
I bet they were.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about slope soaring too. You've done some of that with the Harris as well?
Have I done some of it?
Yes. slope
I've done a
soaring.
lot of it, but in the desert in general, not this desert, but you know, other deserts
Uh-huh.
to the south, there's not enough game to really use slope soaring because the game is so scattered. So
Right,
you have this beautiful slope soaring thing right in front of you, and you can't get a damn thing up. You run around with your dogs, and
Yeah.
there's nothing there.
Yeah. So it's not a tactic that you really use with quail hawking then?
No, the trouble, like here, for example, is you have these red tails and eagles.
Right. Right.
So you're just asking for
Yeah.
serious trouble.
Right. That makes sense.
You can't really travel with a horse up in the foothills here because it's rocky and
And then it's
uneven
gonna- It's gonna make it dangerous, yeah.
yeah, really bad news.
So what do you see as the biggest unrealized potential of the Harris hawk?
Well, I can't say that it is, I would describe it like that. Because most people like to fly rabbits and jacks, and a lot of people squirrels of various kinds, and that's their thing. You know, if they want to do those things, that's fine. For me, I'm with Jim Dawson, who says that they're basically, the males are basically a bird hawk.
Uh-huh,
So personally, I wanna go for the birds,
sure.
but other people don't. I think only maybe less than 1% are people like this guy over here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What's his name?
Oh, no, don't bring him up.
Brewster.
I was hoping he
He's
wouldn't
got
come.
that slow Harris walk.
No,
Can't even catch a quail
That's right.
it's amazing
unless
to me.
they're within 100 feet of him.
No, it's amazing to me. Well, I mean, why do you think quail hawking maybe it has a couple of extra ducks you need to get in a row, like having the dogs and stuff? Do you think that's why people don't do it, or surprises me?
That is the question that I have mulled over for so many decades. I think that it could possibly be it's just too damn much trouble.
Yeah, that's.
You've gotta have a dog,
Right.
you've gotta either walk forever or run.
Uh-huh.
And
Or
you-
ride a horse, or yeah, right.
Yeah, you've gotta have a flushing stick.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. You've gotta get your Harris in top shape.
No.
And you've gotta do all these things.
No, that's
You've gotta hunt
People don't-
often.
Oh,
you gotta
yeah,
hunt
yeah, if
often.
you're not hunting often, it's
Yeah,
probably pointless then.
and
right.
you got to have a hoe. A good hoe, you know.
Good hoe action.
You've gotta have a good one. Cut it down narrow.
That's right.
So,
Hey, can you take that?
all of that's worth it to me, but
Yeah,
I don't think it is to
it's
other people.
surprising, it really is. What do Harris hawks bring to quail hawking that other species maybe aren't so good at?
I think they're so cooperative on the reflush
Yeah.
that it's just a pleasure to fly a quail in and reflush with a Harris hawk. The accipiter, you're watching your friends, you're watching your hawk, you're watching your damn dog. If anybody does anything wrong,
Yep.
they've ruined the whole thing, you know?
Right.
And with a Harris hawk, you just go in there and reflush them. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. And I don't think anything will compare with a Harris hawk in the bush. They're more talented on their feet than any accipiter will ever be.
Really?
And if you don't believe this, you can fly quail down in the Sonoran Desert and compare the two, like
Uh-huh.
a Cooper's finch is a talent on his feet. Well, if you fly a quail in with a Harris hawk, you might arrive to find them eating that quail. You fly them in with a Cooper's, and you'll find the bird is sitting there perched, waiting for you to come in and reflush them.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha, yep.
Huh. Do you find that the Harris has some shortcomings compared to like accipiters, for example?
Very definitely. I think the major thing is trying to condition them to make that long following flight behind quail.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big shortcoming. And a Cooper's just pops out of the egg following quail to
Mhm.
cover.
Mm-hmm.
The Harris needs a lot of encouragement to do it.
Tom wanted to know the answer to this question in particular. If the enemy were eradicated, wiped off the face of the earth, and there were no more quail anywhere, what would you do? Oh!
Wonderful!
Yeah, you,
Get rid of them.
what would you do? What would you hunt
Well,
if you had to pick?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would just cut it all short and use a 357. And that'd be the end of it for me.
Oh,
Oh. So, you know that we're planning to have an International Harris-Hawkers Association. Do you have in mind some goals for that you'd recommend that we make sure we cover certain things?
I would. And the first thing I would put on the agenda and enforce all members is to socialize their birds, right from the start. As soon as they take them out of the breeding chamber, 15 to 20 weeks,
Yeah.
then they have some system of socializing them.
Right.
I don't know, how they would mechanically do this, but that would be the number one on the agenda for me.
That's very good.
Eliminating all of these antisocial birds.
Very
The
good.
Harris hawk is so much happier when it is social anyway.
Well, eventually, what are they gonna do? Eventually, those birds that aren't socialized are gonna start turning on
That's what
people.
they do,
Yes.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
boy, it's a little uncomfortable peeling one of them off your
They
face.
end up just be hand-me-downs, they keep handing them down to the next person, and it's sad, it's pretty sad, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't re-socialize, or whatever you wanna call
Oh,
it, do they? Very
No,
easily.
not very easily, no. No, it takes a miracle, once they're bad, yeah.
Yeah,
Takes
it's
a
not,
miracle.
it's not impossible, but it's unlikely.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, all you
Really,
have to
really
do-
unlikely.
Just join the church and get the congregation to pray for you.
So, I have one final question for you. How important has your dear wife Bethany been to your hunting career, your falconry career?
How important,
Has Beth been to your falconry career?
Beth?
Yes.
The thing that I think of is, one night I took a Aplomado falcon into some hills where I had my mule. The mule could just barely walk up there. There's all rocks and everything. And it was sprinkling rain. And only an idiot would have gone up there in that impossible place. And I couldn't get the Aplomado to come to me because it had caught a small quail and eaten it. So I thought, well, gee, I'm gonna be here all night. And so I called Beth on the cell phone, and she insisted on bringing me a sandwich. And, I tried to explain to her, she'd just go up there and get lost. It was impossible. But that's about the way Beth is.
And she made it?
Well, while I was talking to her, the Aplomado came in and lit literally on my shoe. And so I just picked it up and went home.
Held on.
And had a sandwich later, huh?
Well, that's good. I'm glad she didn't have to risk life or limb. But she would have, right?
She would have.
Yeah, I'd been chasing that bird around for 45 minutes, trying to get it to come to me. I
Right.
couldn't do anything. All I'd do was just go a little bit further.
Anything that we should have asked you? That we didn't dig out of there?
Well, you could ask me why I haven't used common sense in my life. Or why I've been so erratic.
But you probably can't answer
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say, you don't know the answer to that.
Why did you stop flying Refugio?
Yeah, that's a good one, Bob, that's a good one.
Why did I stop flying him?
Refugio,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really don't know the answer.
Because
Because he's
you,
erratic.
because you're right.
And you've regretted that one.
That was one of those things that I did in life,
Oh,
I've done a lot
yeah, we've all
of
done it.
really stupid things in life, and
I wish we would have known, we would have sent him back to you, we didn't know, seriously, we would have, yeah. Guess he's getting pretty old now, but, yeah.
I fell on some hard times with hawking,
Well, yeah, you
With
got
my-
quail
I
out
was
there.
wondering if
Go
it
just
was
away.
no quail.
And I couldn't get a hawk going on quail.
Well, yeah, no, I
Quite a
know,
while.
Yeah.
no, I know. Yeah, well, that's another thing, You have to have game, a lot of game to train, get birds trained right, you just do, you know?
Yeah, and that's when they started going downhill in
Right,
Wilcox.
Wilcox, exactly.
Well, part of it was too, Harry, that was when you were really obsessed with the Oplamato. And you got 2 Oplamatos and you didn't need 3
You
quail
didn't
hawks,
need-
that's what you told me.
Yeah,
And he didn't have a quail, a split, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
my dogs started going to pot, and they were aging.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 excellent dogs, and they were aging,
Yep,
and
everything, yep.
everything was going downhill. The only thing that stayed with me were my damn old horses.
And Beth,
Oh, and- But where's my lipstick? You
Oh, that's right. You know what? I
Always
almost
need a
brought my makeup. I was like, that's what I'm gonna get for my